Hey, what's up, Funkheads? Tomorrow, October 5th, is one of the biggest Funko Pop hunting days of the year, and there are definitely some that I must have. Not as many as past years, and it's not so much because there isn't a lot of great pops coming out, it's just that I'm getting a lot more selective and only getting the pops that I must have. Of course, once I see them in store and I have them in hand, I do tend to impulse buy a lot. Or if they can be easily had online, I might get a few that aren't on my must list, but I think look like pretty cool pops overall. I'm not going to go through every single NYCC pop, because some of them I just don't have a lot to say about, but I am going to talk about the ones I absolutely want and where you can find them. Some of the ones that I might impulse buy or I'm just kind of on the fence still about. And of course, it wouldn't be a collecting plastic video if I didn't get into some of the negative thoughts I have about some of these NYCC pops, some of my conspiracy theories, and just my overall thoughts on some of the pops that I think are the weakest. And I'll save that for the end of the video, and I'm going to start out with the ones that I think are the best. From one of my favorite shows in a very long time, Cremopolis Michael from Rick and Morty is going to be a Hot Topic exclusive. We should make him pretty easy to find, online or in store. And I have a feeling that this is going to be one of the ones that they do get a large quantity of. And Hot Topic tends to do pretty good with their shipping. So I might try to buy this one online, just so I can get to GameStop and Barnes & Noble tomorrow morning. This isn't a character I would have picked to make, but I'm glad they did make him. And I think it is appropriate to make him a con exclusive because he isn't a super popular character, but he is somewhat memorable. He's that alien assassin that has absolutely no morals. And I do like the design of it. It's very different. I like the eyes. I like that they have him holding his gun. And it's from Rick and Morty. I pretty much want to get every single Rick and Morty pop. Jaqen is one of the coolest characters in Game of Thrones, and I definitely want to get him. I do think that they made the white hair strand a little too white. It doesn't seem to be that pronounced in the show, but it does help make him more identifiable. I would have liked him in the Lannister armor, which is what he's wearing when you first meet Jaqen. To me, that's the first image of him that I think about if somebody mentions his name. But this is cool too, so I definitely want to get him. Unfortunately, he's a Books A Million exclusive, which I don't have around me, and I don't have much experience ordering from online. So I'm not sure how their website is going to handle the traffic when it all hits. It might crash, who knows? This might be one of the ones I might have to spend a little extra on eBay. Not a whole lot, but if it's reasonable, I might have to go that route if I cannot secure him online. I also want to get the other character from Game of Thrones, Lyanna Mormont. She hasn't had a whole ton of screen time in the show, but she is definitely one of the most memorable characters so far. I loved every second she was on screen, and her pop looks pretty good. It's hard to tell from this picture, but I hope they really did make her smaller because she's supposed to be a 10-year-old girl. Because if they made her the same size as all the other pops, she's going to look more like Sansa. But if they did make her 2.75 to 3 inches, it would be really appropriate for the character and more recognizable as her. She's going to be an FYE exclusive, and FYE is really hit or miss when it comes to them getting their pops in stock on these big con exclusive days. Sometimes they get them, sometimes they don't. Some stores get them, some don't. Their website can be kind of slow too when everybody goes on it. So this one's definitely going to be tricky. I can't imagine her being too popular. So hopefully you guys and I can get it at a decent price if we have to buy it secondhand on eBay. And for all of you that have all the other bounty hunters from Star Wars, you can finally complete your set with Dengar. And he does look pretty good. This is definitely one of my favorite of the con this year. They have some scarring on his face. They gave him droopy eyes. I like the molding on his headscarf. I like that he's holding his gun. Definitely recognizable right away as Dengar from Star Wars. He is going to be an Amazon exclusive, so you're going to have to go online to get him. But Amazon tends to get a good amount of their exclusives. So the last few con exclusives they had did stay in stock for several hours to days. So he shouldn't be too hard to get, but you never know. I feel like he's going to be popular. But luckily, Amazon does tend to make big orders for their exclusives. G.I. Joe were my favorite action figures as a kid, and Destro was one of the coolest and most unique villains. I really liked his chrome head. It didn't seem to make much sense, but it was cool looking, and it really translated well into pop form. I mean, I guess I'll have to see it in person, But I feel like the chrome head is made out of that lighter weight, super shiny chrome that they've used for some of the other chrome pops, which I'm not a big fan of, but I think in this case it's very appropriate because the original toy did have that lighter weight, hollow feeling chrome plastic for his head. I think it would have been cool if they gave him a suitcase, but the fact that he's holding one of those weird Cobra guns is cool enough. He's going to be Toys R Us, and Toys R Us released some of these early, and like FYE, sometimes they get them in stock, sometimes they don't. I think it depends on what area you live in. My Toys R Us is definitely one of the worst ones I feel in the nation when it comes to having their exclusives in stock, or even just having undamaged stock. The pop that I want the most out of anything this NYCC is Speedy Gonzalez, and he's limited to 3,500 pieces, so he's rare. And I feel like every Mexican and Mexican-American pop collector is going to want Speedy Gonzalez, and probably every Looney Tunes fan as well, and there's a lot of those. So I think this is going to be a stupid duck situation where he's going to be well over $100 on eBay if you're not lucky or quick enough to snatch him up, because he is going to be shared with the Funko shop, but I feel this guy is going to go in a matter of seconds. The first pop that I'm just not sure if I'm going to get yet or not is the 6-inch glow-in-the-dark Balrog. He's really cool looking, but I already have the original 6-inch Balrog, and sometimes I think the glow-in-the-dark ones don't look as nice when they're not glowing. His body seems to be made out of that translucent kind of orange glow-in-the-dark material and then painted over, while his wings look super dark black. It just looks like they're from two different pops because the horns don't have that really dark black on them like the original does. So I might just be fine with the original Balrog. I'll probably pick this up for a friend though if I do see it in a nice box, but not sure if I'm going to get it for myself. This guy is going to be available at Barnes & Noble, and they're usually one of the first stores that open. You're going to want to get there early though. Well, in my area, for SDCC, there was a very long line at Barnes & Noble, and some of the people in the back didn't get a chance to get all the pops. So if you really want this guy, definitely try to go at least 45 minutes early to Barnes & Noble just to make sure that you can get him. Just don't expect to show up right when Barnes & Noble opens and still be able to get this guy. The helmeted Jyn Erso. The helmeted Jyn Erso doesn't appear to have a different body sculpt, which is unfortunate, but she does have a completely new head sculpt. And I really like the Star Wars characters that have helmets. I think they look really cool. And Rogue One is one of my favorite Star Wars movies, but I'm only going to get this one if it's retail price and somewhat easy to get. If you've seen Rogue One, K2SO, holding the blaster, is the version you want to have. He's pretty much the same as the original, except for he has a different arm. But it really is a significant change. To merit replacing your old one with this one, you really don't need both versions, but this is totally the cooler one. He's an Amazon exclusive, so he should be fairly easy to get. The more I look at Grandmaster, the more I want him. I think he has a great sculpt, but the paint details is what makes his pop look really cool. Plus it's Jeff Goldblum. But I'm really liking those metallic gold paints with the blue and the white and the graying hair. It looks really cool. And he's going to be available at Hot Topic, so I feel pretty confident that I'm going to be able to get him for retail price. Hard to tell with this one if it's going to be popular or not, or since it's from a new movie, if Hot Topic is going to get a huge stock of these, like they do with some of their exclusives. But yeah, he does look pretty cool. Lots of tiny little details, even has that little toe strap on the sandal. Really a cool looking pop. Also at Hot Topic is the Dragon Zord, and he looks pretty awesome. Gonna try to get this guy. I'm not gonna pay secondhand market prices for him, but if I see him, I'm gonna pick him up because he's from the era of Power Rangers that I used to watch as a kid, and the Green Ranger was my favorite. He's available at Hot Topic, but I've noticed in the past that Hot Topic doesn't get a huge stock of their 6-inch exclusives. At the store I go to, they tend to get from 4 to 6, so you do want to get there early because I feel that every nerd and their mother is gonna want to get the Dragon Zord. I think it's going to be the first one to go from Hot Topic. So now it's that part of the video where I'm going to talk about some of the things that bothered me about these NYCC exclusive pops. So if you're one of my subscribers that only likes to hear positive things and thinks everything is super cool and dandy with unicorn farts, then you may want to stop watching now. Thanks for sticking with me this far. But now I'm going to talk about some of the cons of these con exclusives. Starting with Saw Gerrera. What annoys me about this pop is that they didn't change the stance in his body at all. It would have been nice if instead of his cane, he was holding his little breathing apparatus like he does in the movie or something like that. The only thing they changed on this pop is that they gave him hair, where the original pop was bald. And what annoys me about that is that in the movie, there isn't one scene with him bald. This is actually what the common should have looked like. So if you want a screen accurate Saw Gerrera, you have to get this exclusive to replace your common, which I find to be super annoying. This seems more like a mistake that Funko is fixing. A mistake that maybe wasn't Funko's fault. Who knows what character concepts they had to go off of. But whoever's fault it was, it does feel like this is a pop that's fixing an inaccurate original pop. And that's why it kind of rubs me the wrong way. If you do want to get this guy though, he's going to be at Barnes & Noble. I know a lot of Star Wars Funko Pop fans probably think this Boba Fett in the Slave One is super cool. And it is pretty cool looking. My main problem with it though, is that these new Pop Deluxe are super overpriced. The original Pop Rides were from $25 to $30. And those actually came with a pop that you could take out and display on its own. These Pop Deluxe are all one piece. You cannot remove the pop from the vehicle. And these are $40. To me, this seems like an item that should cost less than a Pop Ride. This Superman pop is so identical to the one that came in DC Legion of Collectors that I had to look up that pop just to see what the difference is. And the only difference is that the emblem on his chest is different. Other than that, it appears to be the exact same mold, the exact same colors. So much so that if somebody replaced this pop with the Superman that I have from that Legion of Collectors box, I would never notice that somebody had changed it out. This 8-bit Batman isn't necessarily bad. Neither are the Foot Soldiers or the Shredder. All the 8-bit pops aren't bad. It's kind of a cool idea. They're interesting to look at. But the reason I'm putting them in this section of my video is that I feel that these are not pops. I think this should have been a whole different line, Funko 8-bit or whatever they want to call it, because I feel like these aren't exactly Funko Pops. And I feel like they put them in a Funko Pop box and slapped an exclusive sticker on them to get people to buy them. I think that if these exact 8-bit figures were in a different box and didn't have stickers on them and were just common pops, I don't think as many people would want these as do now, simply because they are exclusives and they are technically Funko Pops. So yeah, I think Funko is slipping in a different type of figure right under our noses, calling them Funko Pops to make the launch of this new type of figure successful. Alright guys, so that's what I'm going to be hunting for tomorrow and tonight. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this year's crop of NYCC Funko Pops. What are your top 3? What are your bottom 3? What is your absolute must-have pop? What you think about these 8-bit pops? What you think about some of these different retail stores that get exclusives? What you think about the Pop Deluxe? Or what you think of this redo of Saw Gerrera? Or anything else you would like to say or ask. As always, thanks for watching. Good luck hunting tomorrow, and have a good one.